And now, what you've all been waiting for.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk, because now that Splatoon is coming to the PlayStation, it's time to figure out what Xbox needs to show at the upcoming showcase in order to stay relevant within social media circles. I believe it's fair to assume that at least on social media, a lot of people were left a little bit disappointed from the PlayStation showcase as a whole. It definitely wasn't from the lack of games shown, there were plenty. It was more so from the first-party studios. What are they working on? And a key one was definitely Last of Us Factions. Many of us assumed this game was going to be shown with a release date. Now, shortly after the showcase, Naughty Dog did go on Twitter and drop this, basically stating that they needed more time in development on the game. However, quickly after this statement, Jason Schreier on Twitter came out stating that Naughty Dog had scaled down the number of employees working on Last of Us Factions and had moved them to other first-party titles. And finally, supposedly Bungie also went in and looked at Last of Us Factions and raised concerns on whether or not the game could keep players engaged. Truth be told, I really have no idea what's going on here. I think one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to just randomly drop a trailer for this game at Summer Game Fest coming up here, or it is truly struggling and in trouble. We'll find out soon. You know, come to think of it, while this game is apparently struggling, you know what would be the perfect counterpunch from Xbox? State of Decay 3. I know, it's supposedly struggling as well, just like a lot of Microsoft studios, but man, talk about a great way and a great opportunity to finally show us some gameplay from this game. Literally all we have was that reveal trailer back in 2020. It is absolutely time for you to show us what in the heck you've been working on for the last couple of years. But here's the thing, we've talked about games on this channel before and what I would love to see Microsoft show at the Xbox showcase. There are two important things that need to happen here. One is from us, the fan side of things, and that is simple. Check your expectations at the door.
This is Sparta!
We have been here time and time and time again. I mean, honestly, take a look at what just happened with the Sony showcase. I would actually argue that is not a terrible showcase had it not been for the massive expectations that were required of it. And don't get me wrong, the fact that they 100% haven't had a showcase in over 2 years, that did lead to higher and higher expectations. But just look at all the games they announced, and they didn't even have to use almost any of their first-party studios that we know are absolutely working on amazing games right now. It really wasn't nearly as bad as a lot of people are trying to make it out to be. But because a lot of the first-party studios were not there, this is Xbox's moment. And I get it, check all over social media. People are unbelievably excited for this showcase, and their expectations are through the roof. And don't get me wrong, I am unbelievably excited. I literally cannot wait for this showcase. That being said, Xbox can't show us everything, and we know that. Well, at least some of us anyways. I can't remember where I heard this quote, but I heard it when I was a little bit younger. High aspirations, low expectations. And that has always stuck with me, and I think that is the mindset all of us should go into this showcase. There is so much that I would love to see, but I know it's not gonna all be there. So temper those expectations. But speaking of tempering those expectations, then there is what Xbox needs to do. Oh boy, this is a tough one for them. And I think that's probably coming off as counterproductive because they have so many first-party titles that they can show. But you gotta show them, and we need gameplay, and we need release dates. And then we need titles in between those big release dates. Oh yeah, and by the way, somehow you have to convince everybody that every single one of these titles, whether they're big or small, is going to come out in better shape than Redfall. Yeah, good luck with that one. Now, to remove luck from the scenario, I do think there are a couple things that Xbox can do to help increase their chances of having a successful show. Number one, do not show anything Halo TV series related at this showcase. This is a video game showcase. Keep that crap out of it. Oh, and literally no updates on Halo itself unless they are massive. Even if you want to promote Season 4 starting soon, unless you have something mesmerizingly good, this is not the time to show it. Number two, you're gonna probably show something Sea of Thieves related, but understand and learn how to read a room. We don't need anything more than like 20 seconds of information on this. Move on, keep it rolling. Number three, I know they've been hinting for a long time at Minecraft getting ray tracing. If that is an announcement that's happening and coming to Xbox Series X, show us that it's happening for no more than 10 to 20 seconds and move on. Number 4, you need at least 3 to 4 games within the showcase that blow everyone's socks off graphically. And I know that graphics are not everything in video games, but graphics do get the attention of casual gamers. And if those gamers can only play these games on Xbox, guess what they might have to do? Number 5 here, I'm gonna call the Obsidian effect. Obsidian should be showcasing Avowed finally for us at this showcase, but they also worked on smaller passion projects, Grounded and Pentiment. And as a company, if you want to continue to keep pushing Game Pass to everybody, these small projects are something you need more of. For instance, outside of the rumored Fallout 3 and New Vegas compilation, why can't we start getting Fallout related content in 3 to 4 hour styled games? Let these studios get creative. Give them like a small $5 to $10 million budget instead of hundreds of millions of dollars, and work on smaller titles that can release once every year or two instead of 4 or 5 years. If you take this idea and then expand it out to all of your studios, the amount of creative offerings you could start providing gamers while they wait for the next big AAA release would be unimaginable, and it would be so great for Game Pass. Honestly, there's a lot of reasons to be upset with Xbox, but this is particularly one that I just cannot fathom. I don't understand. The leadership at Xbox has time and time again talked about how they are video gamers themselves, so start acting like it. Number 6, if you have any sort of hardware announcements, such as the Elite version 3, hopefully one that actually doesn't break, or this long rumored streaming device that you have, regardless of what you show, integrate it smartly into the show. Maybe actually use it while you're announcing a new game. Because if you show the device by itself, it's going to slow down the showcase's momentum, I promise you. Number 7, you brought Keanu Reeves on stage for that amazing moment when you introduced Cyberpunk 2077 to the world.
Is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking.
Now, with Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty DLC right around the corner, you might as well bring on Idris Elba. Word of mouth alone is going to get people looking at that announcement on screens, and it's just always great to see Idris Elba. If you've been paying attention throughout this video, I've been using trailers from some games that I just think need to get release dates. I definitely believe it's finally time for us to get that Hollow Knight Silksong release date. I understand at this point it's basically just a meme for anybody waiting on that, but it was announced that that would be a day 1 Game Pass drop, so that would be great to see happen at this showcase. As I've stated in a previous video, Hellblade 2 100% needs to be releasing, I would argue, this November. And then I understand the complications with both Replaced and Stalker 2 because of the Ukraine-Russia war that is happening, but it would be really nice to see these 2 titles get release dates finally. Obviously, this doesn't really have to be stated, but Starfield obviously needs to just nail its showcase. And then give us some surprises. Show us some stuff that's happening way down the road, and maybe some stealth drops or something. Or maybe not even necessarily a stealth drop, but a game that no one expected that's releasing soon. My hunch is this is where the Gears collection probably pops up. It would also be nice to see if maybe the Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas remasters also show up here. But then there's the titles that we just feel like never show up. Xbox has had the Rare catalog for a long time, and I know that everyone has been clamoring for a Banjo and Kazooie remake. And I get it, it makes sense, it's a popular franchise. Or, well, maybe more of a nostalgic franchise. But there's also a lot of really great games within that library. I mean, I would love to see Conker's Bad Fur Day come back. But this also doesn't need to just be first-party games. Like, it would be nice to see an announcement of, like, the next Splinter Cell game coming to Game Pass, do a 2-for-1 drop. This is the one area I've always been the most nervous about with Xbox. Sony has always been fantastic at going around and sniping good games with marketing deals, so that when people see these games, they just assume they need to buy a PlayStation. I would really, really love for Xbox to get aggressive and do this here. I honestly loved seeing that the Xbox Twitter account tweeted out this comment right here, just kind of letting everyone know that a lot of the games that were shown at that PlayStation showcase are coming to Xbox. This energy right here, this is the style of Xbox I want to see. It felt a little bit like the Xbox 360 energy from back in the day. More of this, please. And speaking of energy, I'm running out of it here. So I'm going to wrap up this video by just saying one more time, please temper your expectations. I'm excited just like the rest of you. I cannot wait for this. And I'm honestly quite confident it's going to be a good show. But you have to remember the variety of video gamers out there are massive. Not every single game shown is going to be for you. And that's okay. We want everyone to be able to play on Xbox. And speaking of playing on Xbox, I'm getting ready because just in a couple days here, I'm going to be finally hopping on Diablo 4 for the early release. I'll see you guys then.